Welcome to today's edition of the AI Eye, watching stock news, deal tracker, and advancements in artificial intelligence. This is a special edition of the AI Eye in which we speak to Dr. Danny Rittman, the CTO of Gopher Protocol, Inc. Gopher is a development stage company developing Internet of Things and artificial intelligence-enabled mobile technology. Gopher Protocol is traded on the OTCQB under the ticker symbol GOPH. Danny, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me on the show.
It's our pleasure. So talk about recent news of the company's completion of phase 1 in its AI-based robotic research.
Yeah, we basically experimenting on an actual live robot that we basically have in the R&D. And we're implementing now the first phase of the research, which is the implementation of the geolocation system combining with Avant into this robot system. Until now, the results are very promising. The robot does use, and a robot here is basically representing any type of autonomous machine. Now it's a robot, but it can be autonomous car, it can be autonomous machine, it can be a security robot. And one of the advantages we have is that Avant is basically controlling and working with the geolocation system, and that's the first phase we are now working on. The beauty of the thing is that it's capable to, it's enabling the robot to identify its location with GPS or without. That means even if the robot would be inside a tunnel or inside a warehouse or a closed space when you don't have eye to the sky, the robot using the radio system, the proprietary radio system of Gopher, and still know its location in exact, in accuracy of inches. And that's a very good result. That's where we are today. The results are very successful. And the next research topic will be actually try to involve Avant with what we call the facial recognition, so analyzing the human face, similar to the Face ID system that exists today, but this time it's incorporated into Avant, and enable the robot to identify a person, okay, this is Mr. A, this is Mr. B, and Mr. C.
Now, in a recent press release, you emphasized the goal of making Avant an unsupervised learning system. Can you explain the importance of this and how far along Avant is in achieving it?
Well, currently Avant is a supervised machine, and there is, of course, there is definitely some time until we get into an unsupervised state. Unsupervised machines are basically an AI that supposedly knows the rules, knows the boundaries, if it's ethical rules, if it's moral rules, and many, many, many others, in any, in a wide varieties of domains. But the road is still long. To become unsupervised, I estimate, probably about a year from now. And again, we'll try to do it very cautiously. This is not that, it's a bit on the tricky side, but then that's the ultimate goal. Avant will become, when an AI system becomes unsupervised, it basically becomes self-aware. It already knows theoretically and practically what it is doing, and knows that, for example, it cannot, if we put it on the website as a question and an answer system or any type of interaction with the public, the system should know, what's right, what's wrong, not to offend, not to cause, not to, as a child, not to do things that are not good. And that's the main thing of regarding unsupervised. Of course, unsupervised also can go in a different meaning when it's implemented within robots or autonomous machines or agents. I estimate probably about a year until we'll be feeling that, okay, Avant is ready to go on its own and to become unsupervised.
So AI tech is increasingly being leveraged in various different industries. Can you talk about how Gopher's AI capabilities can be applied in different ways across separate sectors?
Yes, of course. I believe I mentioned just now, but yeah, I'll maybe enhance it a bit. Again, an AI system today, and again, it's many companies now working on, using AI developing a system because it's natural evolution in the high-tech world. Gopher AI System currently is targeting a few segments. One of them can be definitely for what we call the mesh networking, a private networking that can do a wide variety of applications, if it's in the security, military, autonomous driving, autonomous machines, geo-tracking. This type of implementation is perfect for Avant since it's incorporated and working with Gopher geo-tracking and other radio systems, and that's going to be the ultimate brain layer, we call it, to control this. So if we build a mesh network, which is our Gopher Protocol private network, Avant will be what we call the management layer, the brain behind the scene, the brain in the outfit to control and manage everything. So, and of course, in parallel, we're also working with Avant to make it also another branch as what we call expert agent. And as I mentioned before, Avant will be able to be trained in a few months, and then we will be able to use Avant in any domain. For example, we can train Avant to become an expert in the medical field, in a specific field, in law or in business, or in any domain that we be able to train in. And today training is fairly simple. It's either you send Avant to the website, to the internet and said, okay, go fetch this topic and become an expert. And if this is not enough, we can also give it, feed it another textbook. Then it's study the book, get the training, and become an expert. So we're also working in this domain also, and that's for revenue purposes, of course, to make some income from the system using Avant as an expert agent, and so forth.
So what's your take on the White House's national strategy for AI announced last month? And do you think it's an effective way to check China's ascendance in the AI space?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, given the China is becoming and will become a major player and competitor in the next, it's already competitor and player, but it will become more and more stronger player and competitor in the next few years simply because of the fact that they have the budget for it. And I'm not sure if I mentioned that before. Ultimately, it depends on the budget. Give me today, tomorrow, a few billions of dollars. I'll put a team of engineers and we'll create, the best AI systems that we can. So once you have a budget, everything is doable, possible. And China definitely investing lots of money into it. So, the decision and the announcement, to the White House, of course, to actually put more, into this domain, I think it's definitely in the right place. The IP today is still, and I believe will be also for the next, many decades, and of course, future will tell. In the U.S., we do have all the talents here, the knowledge. Okay, then this basically comes from the fact that Silicon Valley is here, the major development companies. Starting in the microchips and the hardware side and the software side, if it's Intel, IBM, and Microsoft and others, is in the U.S. So, and we would like to keep our U.S., I would say, pioneering. We want to keep the leadership in this domain, and I believe we will. And of course, time will tell, of course, but that's what I believe.
So IBM and the Partnership for Public Service issued a report finding that 130,000 federal government employees' jobs will be impacted by AI implementation in the coming years. Now, do you share the popular concern that AI adoption on a large scale could have a negative effect in its rendering existing jobs obsolete?
Yeah, well, it's natural, and I think, anytime when a new technology evolves into something, it's natural to make changes. It will definitely replace and take some jobs, but I think that, also people will get, adapt to that and will have to be trained to work with the system. And that was since the birth of the first microchip, I believe. Everybody said, we're going to have some microchip, this is it. The human jobs will be done. But this is not the case.
And finally, what developments can listeners expect from Avant in the coming months?
Well, we just now, in the next few weeks, we're going to release the mobile application for Avant, and that's, again, the version what we call the AGI. the artificial general intelligence. The mobile application will be basically supporting the web interface we have now. Again, just to remind, currently we enable just a very minimal, limited access to Avant, just to what we call play and have fun, or to see and feel a bit the strength of the system. We enabled a web interface as a website, www.avant-ai.net. Their users now can create an account and ask questions, get answers. By creating an account, all this previous history per account will be kept. So you can always consider it as your handbook. If you're a professional, assuming, and you are a technician and you need some information and you want to keep this information to look backward, then you have your account. You log in, you carry it with you on the computer for now, and you can see, the information right there for you. It's your personal information by account. It's personalized. Now we're going to provide the mobile application for that. So now, if you're a technician, if you're a doctor, if you're a student, if you're anyone and want to keep your quick system, questions and answers, then you will have a mobile app. A mobile app is coming in the next few weeks. You're going to have it on Android. You're going to have it on iOS and the iPhone. Again, you log in into your account. All the question you asked for the past, year, 2 years, doesn't matter. Currently, we have, since the time you created your account, is there. This is where we're going. So what's upcoming? First, the mobile application. Second, we're going to offer what we call the Gopher agent. Again, just a power, a demonstration of capability. We'll make Avant an expert in Gopher technology. After that, we will offer another version which is going to be able to be trained by the users. And that's coming later this year. That's something, again, it's going to be AGI. While we are working on commercial possible application, that's, of course, we will engage with companies that may be, the idea is to get, of course, some revenue from Avant. So if we get a company that want to use it for law system as a law expert agent, we will, of course, rent Avant services or lease, or we're still thinking about the commercial structure we're going to do it. But for the user, for the public, we will be offer the same on the mobile app or on the web application, the possibility to train Avant. So you will be able to say, okay, I asked you a question, you went online, I'm unhappy with the question, with the answer you find online, on the internet, here is the way to do it. You have to do this and this and this, and you feed it by voice or feed it by text to Avant, and Avant says, okay, from now on, I know it will have to go, of course, with some checking and verification process, and after that, it will be recorded within Avant, and from now on, Avant is trained. Avant will know how to handle this type of situation. So that's what's coming later this year, a trained Avant system.
And that's it for today's AI. If you would like to be a guest or sponsor for this podcast, contact InvestorIdeas.com. Investor Ideas reminds all listeners to read our disclaimers and disclosures on the InvestorIdeas.com website. And this podcast is not an endorsement to buy products or services or securities. Investors are reminded all investment involves risk and possible loss of investment. To hear more InvestorIdeas.com podcasts, please visit InvestorIdeas.com/audio. And a reminder, you can also hear our podcasts on Spotify, iTunes, Tunein, Stitcher, Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio.com, and Google Play Music. To learn more about Gopher Protocol Inc., please visit gopherprotocol.com. And for disclosure purposes, this is a paid podcast by Gopher Protocol Inc. And Gopher Protocol Inc. is a PR news and social media